Hi everybody, it's Nikki again. Today we're going to take a break from the In the Hoop Machine embroidery videos to do a video about Korker ribbon. And this is Korker ribbon in case you're not familiar with it. The most common use for it are these little hair bows that are quite adorable, and I sell quite a few of these in my Etsy shop. But there are a few other things that you can do with Korker ribbon, and you can also incorporate it into your In the Hoop embroidery projects as well. Another thing you can do with it is make a miniature version of the Korker bow. You can also make little pigtails, and I will be showing you how to make those as well. And then a ponytail. It's really cute because when the child walks when they're wearing it, it kind of bounces around. It's very whimsical and fun. And then this is a disorderly threads bag that I made recently, and the design suggested a curly shoelace, and I didn't have one, so I thought, well, here's another good use for Korker ribbon. I'll use that as the phone cord. So you might be seeing Korker ribbon used in a future In the Hoop video. So the type of ribbon you want to use for a Korker bow is either a grosgrain or a satin ribbon, and you want to use something that is 3/8 of an inch wide or narrower. And the most common width is either 3/8, or I've seen a lot with a 1/4 inch as well. I use 3/8 for most of mine. And like I said, you can use grosgrain or satin ribbon. I find that the grosgrain holds up a little better over time. You can buy grosgrain ribbon very readily at a lot of chain stores, but what I have found is that it is shockingly less expensive online. A roll of ribbon this size, which is 20 yards, costs around $3 online. And for that same price locally, you're looking at a roll that's maybe 3 to 6 yards. So it's that much of a difference. Even when you factor in shipping, it's way cheaper. And below this video, I'm going to post links to a couple of my favorite ribbon suppliers. And my favorite brands are Offray and Schiff. They're the best quality, and coincidentally, they're also made in the USA, which, if you're in the US like I am, I find that very important. Anything I can do to support our economy, I definitely want to do it. So I recommend this type of ribbon. The other things you'll need to make Korker ribbon are wooden dowels. These are 12 inches long, and they are a 1/4 inch in diameter. And these are readily available. You can get them at craft stores, or if you want to get them a little cheaper and are handy with a saw or know someone who is, the big box home improvement stores have them, and they're about maybe 4 feet long, and they're under $1. And that is how I get mine, because my husband is more than happy to cut them up for me. You will also need some standard clothespins, and those are obviously readily available. And you will need a lighter. When you cut the ends of this grosgrain ribbon, it will unravel very easily. Let me try to show you on here. If you kind of pick at it, see it's starting to fray. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it will fray. In order to prevent that, you will want to have a lighter, and if you're going to be doing this a lot, you will want to invest in a refillable lighter. This is a Zippo. I was literally burning through disposable lighters, so I decided to pay 15 bucks and get one of these. And to heat seal the ribbon, all you do is just run it back and forth for maybe 2 seconds through that flame, and you're done. It's already cooled off, and it is not going to fray anymore. You will obviously need a scissors and a ruler as well. Now for this type of bow and for the pigtails, I use 12-inch lengths of grosgrain ribbon, and I for this style here, I cut them in half, which I'll show you a little later. And they generally end up being, after they're curled, about half the length that they originally were. So that's a good way to gauge how much of how long your ribbon needs to be. For these, I use a 24-inch long piece of grosgrain, and then this ends up being, about 8 inches long, give or take. So I will show you how to roll this. It's really simple. You just put the ribbon on the dowel at a bit of an angle, hold that down, grab your clothespin and just clip it on like that. And then you are going to wind the ribbon around the dowel. It's really simple. And as you go, it'll be separated like that, and just push it down. Make sure it's not overlapping. And then clip a dowel to the other end, just like this. And for the 12-inch lengths of ribbon, you can fit 2 of them on one of these dowels. And for the ponytail length, just 1 fits. And that'll obviously vary if you are using a different width of ribbon. See, it's real simple. This is something that you can do when you're watching TV or any other type of activity where you're kind of stuck in one spot and you only have to be minimally attuned to what's going on around you. So it's a nice mindless thing if you're tired. Good craft for that. So then you take this and you'll need to put this in some sort of a pan. And it's always good not to mix food with crafts, chemicals that are not intended for human consumption, not good for mixing with food. So I use one of these cheapo foil roasting pans from the grocery store, and you just set it in here and you just line them up like this until it's full. Then you will put them into an oven that is preheated to 275 degrees. Set your timer for 25 minutes. When it goes off, just turn off the oven. You can leave them in there while they cool, and you're done. And it's really amazing. And through the magic of YouTube, I will show you what they look like when they are completed. You just take off the clothespins, and they slide right off. One thing to keep in mind is that if you're using a bright color like a red, it tends to bleed onto the dowel. So you want to kind of keep the colors, kind of stick with the same dowels for certain colors. With this particular bow, I don't think you're going to be able to see, but I used white ribbon on a dowel that had previously been used for red. So now these are tinted pink, and can't sell that one, so someone will be happy to get it as a gift. Anyhow, let's show you how to make these various projects here. For the pigtails, this is really simple. I don't know if I'm the first person to come up with this idea, but in any case, these are really popular and they're super cute and not really that expensive. What you do is you just sew them together, and for that you'll need a spool of upholstery thread. Regular sewing thread does not work because of how tightly you have to pull the knots to get them tight enough. So look for upholstery thread, and it's at your fabric store right next to all the other threads. So, and it comes in black and white, and I think maybe navy and red. I use black or white for everything because you end up not seeing the thread anyhow. So cut a length, under 12 inches. You want to tie a little double knot at the end like I just did. Grab a regular sewing needle and thread it through. You can use a needle threader. I find this thread is stiff enough that it makes it real easy to thread just on its own. So anyhow, you've got it threaded just like that. And then what you do is you grab one of your pieces of ribbon and kind of hold on to it and gauge where the center is. And then just pierce it right through, put the needle right through it. And then for this design, I'm using 2 colors. I'm using 4 of each. If it's a solid design or multicolor, I usually use like around 7 of these. I find that amount looks good. You can use more or less if you want to, though. And then just keep stacking them like this, right on your needle. Just like that. This is really simple. And like I said, if you have a day job like I do and kids, by the end of the day, you're just beat and physically exhausted, but you really want to do some kind of craft activity, this is perfect because you can just hang out on your couch and make these things, and you're still productive even though you're tired. So here's our last one. Then what you want to do is kind of grab these all right near the needle and line them all up so they're all facing the same direction, just like this. Then hold with your fingers on either side of the needle, pull it all the way through, and then you're just going to sew these together. It's really simple. It's just a couple little stitches. So I know not everyone likes hand sewing, but this is really quick. I usually go through it maybe like 5-6 times, something like that. And then take off your needle. And then I take this longer end and I wrap it around the ribbon just a few times. Then I tie this in a double knot, and this is where having the upholstery thread is very important because you need to tie this pull it tight and you don't want your thread to break. So there you go, it's already starting to look like a pigtail. Just cut off as much of that thread as you can, and here you go. Then you want to have this little knot detail here. This is used to hold the ponytail band and then to cover our thread. So what I do is I use a little decorative knot. This is about a 4-inch long piece of 3/8 inch grosgrain ribbon, and I pull it just a little tight, not too much. So then it's big enough to cover all of our thread. And you're going to use a high temp hot glue gun. I have found that the low temp glue gun does not produce a strong enough bond, so it does need to be high temp. So we put our little bit of glue on, and then I put glue on the knot, makes it extra secure so this won't fall apart. And then carefully center your knot over that spot. You just need a little tiny bit of glue. If you have too much, it tends to ooze out the sides like mine just did. And just try to cover your glue with the knot as much as you can. All right, now you're going to take your ponytail band, and I usually look for the spot where the two ends are joined. This is a dark color, so it's kind of hard, but I think it's right here. And that is the part that I will conceal with the ribbon. You take your glue and put a small dot of it again. That was too much. Oops. Put it right over the thread again, and then take one end of your ribbon and carefully press it down. Then we are going to trim off the excess and then fold it over, trim off the excess on that side. Then we need to heat seal our edges. Just like that. You don't want this to fray. All right. Then put a little bit of glue on that ribbon. And then press it down. Just like that. And you're already done. You've already made one pigtail. So this is a really fun project. You can make these in school colors. You can make them to match your kids' outfits. And another advantage to buying your ribbon online is there are literally over 100 shades, different colors of this grosgrain ribbon. So if you look behind me, these drawers here are filled with ribbon. It gets kind of addictive actually, but it's so much fun because you can get an exact color match for your children's outfits. And I like to make them to match outfits from the Embroidery lines. Like this one is from the Bright and Beachy line. This one's from Bright Owl last year. So it's a lot of fun, and it makes your kid's outfit that much more special, and it's not really that expensive if you make your own. So now for the ponytail, it's the same exact concept as the pigtail, except it's longer and you're only making one. Very simple. And then for this type of bow, this is also pretty straightforward. You're going to take your 12-inch piece of ribbon that's now 6 inches, and you're actually going to reduce it to 3. So just find the middle, cut it. You're going to heat seal those 2 cut edges. And my lighter doesn't want to cooperate. You get the idea. And for this size, it's the same concept, only you are cutting that piece of ribbon into thirds. So I just eyeball it, cut it there, heat seal it, and I've got some right here that are already cut and sealed. And I will show you how to make one of these. For the full size bow that I just showed you, that one I like to use 20 pieces of corkers. And for the little bitty one, I like to use at least 12. You can use up to 15, it looks cute, it looks a little fuller. For this one, we're going to make a rainbow one, so this is the same technique as we did for the pigtail. Just find the center and put it on the needle, and we're just stacking them on. Very, very simple. And I'm doing these in rainbow order, so it's very festive and happy. And kids love these. They're so much fun. They're great for gifts. If you have some daughters who go to birthday parties a lot, you can make these and send them along as gifts, and they're guaranteed to be very well received, and it's highly unlikely that anyone else is going to show up there with the same gift as you. And they're so much fun to make. So here is a completed one with 12 little corker pieces. We're just holding the ribbons down like this. Pull the ribbon through and then push it through again. This is when you want to be careful. You obviously don't want to stab yourself with the needle. It hurts. And then go through it about 4 times. And be careful, you don't want to catch the ends of your ribbon with the thread. This is when a thimble or a flat surface comes in handy, because you can just press down on the back of the needle if it gets a little difficult, especially if you're using a lot of layers of ribbon. And again, just tie a knot like you did before with the pigtail. I just tie a little double knot and then cut off the excess. And here's what it looks like. Then with this type of bow, you will want to use either a little plastic barrette or a metal alligator clip. With the plastic ones, if your daughter goes swimming, she can wear them and they don't have to worry about them getting rusty. These are more common, little alligator clips. Either option is pretty inexpensive, but with these, they stay in the hair a lot better and they look a lot nicer if you line them partially. And there are a lot of videos online about that, so I'm not going to go into it here. But it's just a 4-inch long piece of grosgrain ribbon that you heat seal the ends, and you just partially cover it. Start here, go all around, little dent in here, and at the end. So really easy, and then this is what it looks like when it's in its natural state. So for this, we're just going to put a little short strip of glue right over that knot. We'll take our clip and put it with the covered side down, and there you go. It'll the glue will cool and dry in a few seconds, and it's ready to put in your hair. It's really cute, isn't it? And then for the other uses like this, this is actually probably a little long, but this was a 12-inch long piece. It was originally 24, and then it curled to 12 inches. So you can use it as a phone cord, or you can leave the clip off of this, and you could just use the bow itself. You could stitch it onto a shirt or like a little kid's purse. Disorderly Threads just came out with a little cheerleader bag, and I am actually going to use this size bow, and I'm going to sew it on for the pom-poms. I thought it would look really cute like that. It gives it some dimension. So I hope this was helpful to you and gave you some ideas for some new projects to try. And if you like this video, please click like and also subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, please post them below and I will answer them the best I can. And happy crafting. Thank you for watching.